Hi, friends. If you're like me, trying to search meanings in different things, if you're in a stage of life where you're exploring different spiritual aspects, you may have come across terms like chakra and the different dimensions of consciousness, and the sacred geometry, um, Shiv, Shakti, and so on. Um, I have also come across these concepts, but then I could not form a composite picture until I got down to thinking. And it's not that you would not get this information anywhere else, but I would definitely like to make things simpler. And like me, I wouldn't want that you go across many different texts just to make head or tail out of things, because things that are given in several different mediums are all fragmented. They have to be pieced together so that uh, a more sensible picture emerges. So, I have been thinking for a while now as to uh, how things came into being, why, what actually led to the emergence of life on Earth, and so on. I'll try to make it as brief as possible. Uh, in fact, I'll completely do away with the how did life come into being. I'll straight away get to certain concepts that you have come across. I'm so sure if you're on this, you're checking out this video, you may have read so many different texts that are based on the concepts that I'm going to talk about. All right, so let me launch myself into it. Let's begin with different dimensions of consciousness or life. Just like all the living beings, even Earth is a living entity. Now, how do you differentiate a living entity from a non-living entity? Living entity is the one that changes with time. It has a heartbeat. So, and it moves, obviously. So, there's nothing obvious about it because trees don't move, but then they vibrate. So basically, heartbeat or pulse, and they change with time. These are few things that are there as basic characteristics or features of a living entity. And moreover, a living entity would give birth to another living entity, and so is the case with Earth. Only living entity can come out of living entity. So when you see grass, trees and plants stuck to the crust of Earth, you obviously know that Earth has to be a living entity. And few of you who still haven't gotten completely convinced, because it is a hard thing to stomach, even Earth has a pulse, and its pulse is some scientists have found out that its pulse is 7.8 uh, pulses per second. So this can be seen as heartbeat of Earth. Now, let's begin. This is Earth, and its heartbeat is 7.8 pulses per second. So it is vibrating at this particular frequency. And why is it vibrating? Because there are external forces, let's say the gravitational force, and internal forces, which would include molten lava and other pressures that are building up inside the Earth's crust. So that's how it contracts and expands, and this is the pulse. We cannot be too sure about it because not each one of us can know things. We'll have to go by what scientists have to say. about Earth's pulse, and it is 7.8 pulses per second. So let's take it as Earth's heartbeat. Now there is this is the first dimension. First, this is the first dimension, and then from the core of Earth, which is vibrating at this particular frequency, the second dimension is the distance between the crust and the core. This is the second dimension. And then living beings on Earth moving, they are all in form of 3D entities. That is, they just don't have length and width, they also have height. So in this way, length, width, height, these are 3D individuals, entities, which includes trees as well. Alright, so all 3D individuals, or the third dimension entities, are roaming about on the crust of the Earth. This is the third dimension. Now each one of us, I'm so sure that you know about it, that each one of us is a bundle of energy. We have energy flowing inside us, through us, and every entity that has energy or electromagnetic electricity passing through. Why am I saying electricity? Because you know that our nervous system is nothing but is based on the work of synapse, and synapse are can be seen as charges that are electrical in nature. So anything that has electricity in it would also have a magnetic field. So all the living creatures have their magnetic field around them, and the sum total of it can be the electromagnetic field that is created all around us. It can be a happy electromagnetic field, it can be a sad electromagnetic field, but basically all the emotions that we feel will compose the fourth dimension. This is the fourth dimension. And then as we go higher, we can feel atmosphere, and above that there is ether. This is the fifth dimension. This can be seen as the gravitational force, and the gravitational force is something that pulls you towards itself. Why does it pull? Why are we so crazy about our lives? What is so special about it, despite the fact that things don't go as right as we hope them to go? It's the gravitational force, it's the beauty of it, it's the allure of Earth. Now seen from somewhere in space, Earth would appear to be one of the most beautiful planets. Such vibrant colors it has life. It is only that when we enter the electromagnetic field that is created by living beings and the kind of emotions that they experience, things get a little difficult. So the fifth dimension is the gravitational force, or the allure, or if seen in a more spiritual way, fifth dimension is nothing but the pull, right, that pulls you towards Earth. But talking in a spiritual way, we can see this pull as nothing else but, as I just said, allure, a temptation to remain on this planet, on this big piece of rock. Then this is the fifth dimension. After that, we come across geometrical shapes in around Earth, and these are circles and uh, planets. Circles means planets, right? And these planets are made in a certain way, that is, which can form a triangular shape, it can form a spherical shape, it can make a tetrahedron shape, and so on. So these geometrical shapes around our planet in the sky. Now, that is something that we can understand to be the astrology part of things that we usually delve into. Okay, so somebody was born on this time at this place, so the geometry that would be ruling his fate would be this. And or those of you who are into Vedic sciences, there are yantras or geometrical shapes made on pieces of metal. These are energized pieces of metals, and they have a specific purpose if you keep them activated through mantra or puja, that is worship, in a certain way. So this is the sixth dimension. Sixth dimension is the astrology part, the geometrical patterns in the sky, which determine what kind of light will we, each one of us will receive from through this geometrical pattern, the light that each one of us will receive and experience emotions accordingly. Now, the light that comes here comes through the stars. The star in the solar system is, of course, the sun, and it also comes from other galaxies. It comes from other galaxies in our solar system. Now, this light enters our solar system is the seventh dimension. Beyond that, there are other dimensions that have sounds as well as light, and then finally everything goes into nothingness, which is, excuse me, this light that is coming from everywhere. It is generated from something, and it goes back into something which is known as black hole or the dark matter. Now, this dark matter doesn't have light, does not have sound. Beyond this is light and sound and geometrical shapes. In it, there is and all these sounds and lights, they get into it back again. There is a cycle going on. It comes from it, it goes back into it. It doesn't come from it, basically, but then it comes from far and beyond, but it goes back into the dark matter. This dark matter is the final dimension. According to Vedic astrology, there are about 64 dimensions. The modern science has only been able to discover some. At the places you'll read there are 9 dimensions, at places you'll read there are 11 dimensions. So it hasn't been able to find the sub-dimensions that is given in the Vedic science. Alright, so how is this connected to the chakra system? You know, I read a lot of different texts, and I found that the geometrical shapes that we talk about is basically resembles the chakras, the chakras that we have: the root chakra, the sacral, the solar plexus, heart, throat, and the head and the crown. All these chakra, so these they have a certain shape. Each of these chakra are energy points in our body. Suppose this is somebody, and each one of us has these chakras, and they resemble this the geometrical shape of the sacred geometrical pattern that has even been confirmed by the modern science. Um, the sacred geometrical shape that exists in the sky. Now, I haven't read it anywhere, but what I've surmised after reading all these things is that it has a shape that uh, the chakras have shapes resonating with the sacred geometry in the sky. And as we work towards activating each of these chakra, we'll get frequencies or information channeled from these shapes. I'll get more into it in my coming videos, but I am certain that these shapes and these chakras have something to do with each other. The frequencies that we receive from uh, far and beyond depends on the depends on whether we have activated that particular chakra. I hope I made sense. If I haven't, I'll make it easier the next time. Um, Thank you for listening. Bye.